Hello, hello. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the CAT Scan Guru podcast. Welcome back, everybody. If this is your first time listening to this podcast, hi, welcome. My name is Karina. I am a registered CT technologist. I have 20 plus years of experience in CT. I've worked in all aspects of CT, whether it's trauma, in acute care, outpatient, you name it. I'm very proficient in cardiac scanning, CT procedures, and all the hard CT exams that every tech does not like to take, because all the complicated cases, they give them to me because I know how to figure them out. So I am also a mom to special needs kids, and I also run another brand that has nothing to do with radiology. So I am just the jack of all trades when it comes to stuff. So if this is your first time listening, welcome. Thank you for subscribing and listening to the podcast, because we talk about all the CT things here and how I create different types of topics to help those new incoming CT technologists that are completely lost in CT, because we all know that CT and the training structure is not adequate. So I felt that it was my mission and vision to help the incoming generation of technologists to be the best technologists they can be. Also, if you don't know yet, if you haven't been following along on TikTok, I'm pretty sure most of you have, I have released a CT protocol guide. So it's core CT protocols. It's 10 different protocols to get you going in your training to help you out. It also is bundled up with 2 courses, a contrast course and a common CT exams and protocols course, along with a 10-episode audio series that you can listen to on the go to dominate your CT training. All that is available. You can get a digital version of the protocol guide or a physical version of the protocol guide. So everything is listed in the show notes. So go check it out and go get your guide today. Also, I drop a lot of protocol breakdowns. It's a short breakdown of each protocol on my TikTok channel. So make sure you follow along on TikTok at the CAT Scan Guru. My YouTube channel, I also have that where I drop more educational long form videos. The video portion of the podcast is on the YouTube channel as well. And I do create longer form protocol breakdowns on my YouTube channel. So I have started doing that. So make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. So thank you so much if this is your first time listening. And thank you to everybody that continues to support and follow the show. So let's get into today's episode. Today's episode is the difference between a busy tech and a skilled CT tech. Being busy does not equal being skilled. Ooh, that's just going to light a fire in everybody's ass here, and that's okay. So there is a difference between being a busy tech versus being somebody who's skilled, okay? So think of the comparison like this. There is a difference between a textbook tech and a tech that knows what they're doing in the room. So those two analogies do kind of go together, because that was a analogy that was given to me many, many years ago when I was shadowing if I actually wanted to go to X-ray school. And one of the X-ray technologists had told me that there's a difference between a textbook tech, somebody that's book smart, and somebody that can go into that room and know exactly what they're doing. And said, you want to be tech B, the one that knows exactly what they're doing in that room. Okay. So one of the common problems that I see is there's this constant motion and hustle and bustle in CT departments, and there's inadequate training making the skill set, and there's a lot of gaps in that skill set. Okay. So it's masking that skill set. And then there's a lot of learning gaps, and technologists are not learning what they need to know so they can operate independently. So there's a lot of factors that come into that. So I'm going to explain a few of them. So, there's very high volumes in CT. Okay. There is high capacity and high demand for every exam under the sun. Because they order those ER exams like it's going out of style. Like the world is going to end today. So, everybody that walks in the door needs at least 3 or 4 CTs. So techs sometimes confuse that high volume and that fast pace as being skilled. And that's really not the case. Okay. And then multitasking. Listen, our brains can't remember everything, and multitasking does not make you skilled. Okay. It just says you're doing one too many things at a time, and then you can make a fucking mistake. And then guess what? It harms somebody. The patient gets harmed. The patient has a reaction. The patient, something happens to the IV. So you can't multitask because you have to focus on one task at a time, guys. Okay. So there's a lot of factors that come into that because CT is a very complex department. There's a lot of moving parts. And the thing is there is such high volumes and such high capacities that a lot of times it's hard to meet those demands from those emergency rooms, the floor patients, the ICU, things like that. So what happens when you're trying to multitask and be fast paced and you're confusing this with high volumes and, thinking, oh, well, it's, I'm a busy tech, I'm a skilled tech. No, what happens is you get burnt out and exhausted. And then it doesn't give you an opportunity to really focus on your growth and skill set. And then you are repeating habits that are not needed. Listen, multitasking is not needed, okay? Because you can't do 3 things at once and then expect each thing to be correct. We're humans, we make mistakes. We can only focus on one task at a time. I know I can't, okay? I cannot focus on 50 million things. I have to focus on one task, okay? And then there's this thing where there's limited advance opportunities. Listen, I have seen TikTok videos of people saying that there are limited opportunities in radiology. That is such bullshit because it is. And I know one of my mutuals in the same space has made an entire series about how you can advance when it comes to careers in radiology. Okay. CT is an advancement. MRI is an advancement. IR, cath lab. I have seen, different types of people that I went to x-ray school with. Some of them work in public health with PhDs. Okay. There are people that have advanced into IT roles, PACS administration, educators, managers. Some of them have become CEOs of the hospital. There are so many advancements that you can do, and we're not limited. Okay. So the one thing that we have to start doing is we need to have skill-based metrics. Okay. And the way that the pace that we operate in needs to be, within what we can handle in the department. Okay. So skill-based metrics. So we're talking about, your workflow efficiency, your scan accuracy, communication skills, how well you adapt, how well you're learning the material and making sure that you learn the foundation and the core basics of CT and how to operate, those exams and get optimal exams and making sure you're positioning the patient correctly, right? Those are the things as far as skills and the metrics that are needed. It's just like the foundation of a house. You have to have a foundation and a structure for training those incoming technologists, those new technologists, and even a technologist that's a traveler, brand new traveler. Let's say they've got 1-2 years experience and they're brand new. This can help them too. Okay. So what happens with all that is you get long-term career leverage. Like you can leverage it and you can have opportunities open up for you. There's leadership potential, like I explained. I have seen lots of people that have gone to x-ray school that have leadership positions. Okay. It is possible. Anything is possible. You can be one of the, get on to the, medical device companies like Stryker. I've seen techs that do that job. Okay. So there are a wealth of opportunities for you, especially in leadership roles. And then you get more stronger clinical knowledge when you go ahead and you have those skill matrix, you have that proper training structure, and you have that flow. Okay. So, and then you boost your learning potential because we need to continue educating ourselves because there's new things that come out all the time. Look, AI, we use AI in radiology. I know we use a third-party AI vendor to create all of our perfusion maps for stroke. As technologists, we don't have to do that piece anymore. So AI tends to, help out when it's needed so that we can work a little bit faster. We're already taking time to scan the patient, and timing is crucial when it comes to those stroke protocols. So we contract a third-party AI company that has AI software to make sure they create those perfusion maps. Now, I have to say, sometimes it does screw up and somebody manually has to create those maps because the AI went ahead and, constructed the wrong maps, it happens. Okay. It's a program. Okay. So there is room for error. So then we have to call and say, hey, we need these maps reworked because it's on the wrong side, So there are a lot of opportunities and learning potentials that we need to stay on top of, especially, the latest and greatest in the trends that are going on in CT and radiology. So those are the things that we need to do so that we don't have these gaps in our skill set. There's no gaps in our training. And don't be just a busy technologist. Be a skilled one. And a skilled one takes their, don't be busy, busy, busy and try to be fast paced. Like takes, everything with time and is efficient, because we want efficiency, not speed. Okay. Because speed will come. You just have to be efficient first, and making sure you're accurate and communicate. And there's a lot of opportunities that can open up for you, especially when you have skill set and you go ahead and continue learning and educating yourself. Okay. If you're serious about being skilled and making sure that you are just hone in on your CT training and not just a busy tech, the protocol guide bundle is your go-to. So make sure you go get that bundle so that you can start implementing some of the things that I teach within your CT training. So it's in the show notes. Go get you the bundle today. So that is it for our podcast episode for today. So make sure you get your protocol bundle. You can get a digital or a physical copy of it. Make sure you follow on TikTok and subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast show so that you can get the latest episodes when they drop. So thank you so much for listening, and I will chat with you guys in the next episode.